So I don't know how many times over the past, 2 years we've talked about leveling up, and even during pre of those past 2 years, like since the referendum, since the idea of like the left behind towns has come into saying, I've always been pretty adamant that first things first, people need to get involved with their local governments, because we've just had a situation here in Barnsley where we've had a big new town centre redevelopment work. And to be honest, it's absolutely fantastic. It's the direction that Barnsley has needed, and needed something like that for so long. Not only has it given it new buildings, it's given the whole area a sort of a new lease of life with the new possibilities that can be brought into the area. However, you've had another set of people who, again, we'll call them the Facebook moaners, shall we say, or the perpetual moaners, who come in and say, oh, you can't do that, or like, yes, that's going to work, or oh, you've wasted my taxpayer money, whatever. These people never engage with their local authorities. We've got a situation here where our population is increasing, and it's not through birth rate. It's just for the fact that Barnsley has really good transport links. We're on the motorway. We've got really good rail connections to Sheffield and Leeds. Same for the motorway as well. And people have realised that they don't have to live in these places. They can live in Barnsley, where it's a lot cheaper. And that's why our population is increasing. And we're having to build more houses. And then people complain, oh, no, you're building on these green belts. How could you? Well, if we don't build on these green belts, we will end up in a situation where the house prices are being driven up by all these people who are coming from the cities to live in the town. And then you're going to get local people who will then get completely forced out because the house prices are just going to be too high to even afford. And yet they don't understand that. And then when they get asked, and trust me, there have been plenty of situations where, shall we say, just very recently indeed, Barnsley Council have launched a new, tell us what you want. What do you think to these plans? What do you think to the new one is, well, we want to make the town centre more like carbon neutral to meet with the government plans. What do you think we should be doing? They do this all the time. The big problem is most of these people who go on and complain about this never even turn up to these things, never even put their voice forward, and it never happens. But in the case of levelling up, this is a sort of a bizarre case of where we have to have money able to do it. Most local councils, if they haven't got that money, well, they can't level up. Again, the improvements from Barnsley over the past past couple of recent years have been predominantly from the EU. The new glassworks that was built from the war chest that Barnsley Council itself had built up. But if we want to level up, not only just here, but the rest of like South Yorkshire and Yorkshire in general, we need the money. And if these pots of money are only located in the central, finite corridors of Westminster, and essentially we're being forced to bid and compete when that really shouldn't be the case. It should be given by who needs it most. And as a result, these new leveling up funds are going to be used as essentially like a nice little political piece, because they'll be given to all the swing seats, and then they'll be dabbled back to the the rest of the Conservative seats, and that'll be it. But if you really want to do a proper leveling up project, then the government has to get that money and give it to the people, mainly the local councils, like local authorities, and give them the power and the money they need to do it. If they don't do that, then leveling up is just going to be completely waste of time. And to be honest, that seems to definitely the direction that it seems to be going. We're meant to be having a white paper coming out in like the next couple of weeks that's meant to discuss this. That's going to be fun to go over. I can tell you that now. Michael Gove has been put as the minister in charge of, quote, levelling up. It's very likely that that's not going to happen now. Well, because it's Michael Gove that's been put in it. So Gove is going to say and follow up with Boris, like, you know, he's going to do all these speeches about, oh, we're going to level up, we're going to do this, it's going to be fantastic. Well, give the people on the ground what they need to do it, because you can go to any council throughout the UK and you can find the council that they all have plans and strategies for what they want to do. The only thing that they need is they need the money to be able to do it. They also need the powers to be able to do it as well. And with our government being so obsessed with that, they just don't want to do it, because they want to keep all that stuff mainly centralized, because they don't want people seeing, well, hang on, this Labour council has done really good, whereas this Tory council has done really bad, or this mixture of like Greens, Labour and Lib Dems, as you've got in, you know, in Sheffield, has done really good in like regenerating the city and like really, you know, giving it some vim and vigor back into the city. They don't want that. They don't want that at all. But I can tell you from, like I say, the recent developments we've seen in my own town, none of the money that's come from developing it recently has come from the government. It was all EU business development funds, structural funds, you know, all there that was based on allocated on need, not as we've seen now, on basically a political dog and pony show of whoever, shall we say, will vote for us gets the money. And here's the thing, guys. If you think that that's a viable political strategy, that you're going to say, well, I want my town to get the money, I'm going to vote to get that money. Here's the problem. How much money will your town get? Will your town be the squeaky wheel that's getting the grease? I don't think so. Boris Johnson has promised so many things to so many people. And as I said, I don't know how countless times, he's walking a very, very tight tightrope. And if he loses those northern seats in the next election, he's going to be in trouble. If he loses these southern seats to the Liberal Democrats, which they're heavily, heavily pushing for, by the way, like I say, they lost that one by-election, but they've been winning. They've won about 3 to 4 local elections, again, in very strong Tory areas that are, again, meant to be very safe Tory areas. So there are signs there that the Lib Dems are having a bigger success than the Tories want to admit. And if Boris loses both those traditional southern voters and the new northern voters' seats that he had from his last time, well, that was the complete collapse of the Tory party. And that's, again, it's a possibility. It could happen. I think it's maybe about a 30% chance of it happening. But it's far more likely that Boris will either lose his new northern base or he will lose the southern base. And I think that's more potentially likely in a potential next general election scenario. So, like I say, thank you very much for listening to me today. Like I say, and as always, please do go out and get involved in your local communities, especially now more than ever, because the voices of people in your towns are needed more in your town centre. Trust me, your local authority will be constantly crying out, we want to know what you want us to do, and then 4 or 5 people turn up and they have to make a guesstimate amount of what these 4 or 5 people might actually want for the rest of the town. So please do go out and get involved with your local authority. Do pay attention to like local elections, because they are really, really important. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And also down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee that are down below as well. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.